Video is late. This video is late. Was pretty much in a space for like maybe I don't know, so like 3-4 hours in a space, just vented it out. So I'm not gonna be as angry like I have. I mean, literally, this is I don't know how many videos I got to keep making of the Bills losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs. This shit's is very tiresome at this point. But I mean, we got to execute it, got out coached, got out played. Simple as that. I mean, I'm not going to make too many excuses. I'm not going to blame the referees like everyone else is blaming the referees. I'm not going to be one of those fans. Chiefs fans, if you guys watch my videos, which honestly, I know a lot of you guys, once in a while would kind of come back and watch these reaction videos. You guys know I don't make any excuses for my team. We failed to execute. We ran away from our identity in the first half. The fact that James Cook only had 13 carries is a fucking travesty. The fact that we were, in heavy spread formations or in empty formations, the fact that we didn't stick to what we were and try to go to those heavy and run a lot more of those jumbo sets and get James Cook involved and try to control the flow of the game, control the clock. We forced especially because Josh Allen, he started off the game extremely antsy. So knowing that he was antsy, Joe Brady, we did it to ourselves. And against Kansas City, you can't do that. You can't start off on offense the way that you were in that first series. And matter of fact, literally, if it wasn't for Kansas City turning over the ball, Kansas City probably would have been up by 2 or 3 possessions by halftime. I mean, Kansas City cost themselves pivotal mistakes and gave us momentum back in that first half. Like, we played like absolute garbage in the first half. Defensively, couldn't make any sort of stops. We did make adjustments in terms of stopping the run. I mean, I know Kansas City had 100 yards in the first half, but we made adjustments to it. We tried to play a little bit more 3 down, so we were more in a 4-3. We weren't playing a lot of zone. We were in a lot of man coverage, and we simply had a spy on the quarterback for the most part until we had to kind of make an adjustment to that. But I mean, simple as that. The strategy for this defense was playing man coverage because Kansas City is going to pick you apart if you play any sort of zone. They're just going to pick you apart. Kelsey's going to win, and so. But at the same time, when Benford went out and we had to put Kiar Elam, who was supposed to be a man corner, who got absolutely, Elam is garbage, but simple as that, our secondary just wasn't good enough. And even if Benford would have played today, yes, would have made a difference, potentially would have made a difference. But at the end of the day, you're safe. Damar Hamlin guarding Travis Kelce in the slot. Douglas was garbage today in man coverage. I mean, let's be honest here. The Chiefs probably would have still done shit anyway because once again, this was another game where we simply couldn't get pressure on Mahomes. We simply couldn't get pressure on Mahomes. And we just couldn't get consistent pressure. One play, it will be Von Miller trying to flush Patrick Mahomes outside the pocket, but we have nobody that can contain him, that we can contain him and force him inside. Or again, our edge rushers would win, forcing Mahomes to step up in the pocket. No one's in his face because there's no interior pass rush. Like, it was inconsistency all night long for this game. And quite frankly, the last 4 times that we've lost this Chiefs team, the biggest reason why we've lost is simply because of the defensive line. We don't have a Chris Jones. We don't have a George Karlaftis. We don't have a Frank Clark. We don't have those guys up there that can provide that are maybe not premier pass rushers. Well, Chris Jones is a premier defensive lineman, but we don't have those guys that can effectively and consistently affect the quarterback. I mean, the Chiefs, had pressure all night. And the Bills arguably have a top 3 offensive line in the league. If not, some may even say has the best offensive line in the National Football League. And the Chiefs were getting pressure with freaking Dana. They were getting pressure with Dana. They were getting pressure with Karlaftis. They were getting pressure within the interior, regardless of who it was. Chris Jones, again, he wreaked havoc, wrecked the game. He made 3 literally legacy-defining plays that people won't talk about. I don't know. Chris Jones might be the most underrated Chief of all time because this dude has single-handedly won the Chiefs so many games against us, and yet people never will talk about it, or people will never revisit those plays. We'll talk about Mahomes. We'll talk about Spags. We'll talk about Andy Reid. No one ever talks about the impactful plays that Chris Jones makes. He made 3 impactful plays, including on 4th and 1 that, I don't know, it is what it is. But yeah, we don't have those guys on the defensive line. Ed Oliver had a really, really good game today, but where was Rousseau? This guy is eligible of getting a mega extension, nowhere to be seen. Matter of fact, the second half of the season, in terms of a pass rusher, nowhere to be seen. The fact that we have to rely on a 35-year-old Von Miller to be the guy that can go out there and make plays, testament to what this team actually is. The secondary again was ass. I don't know what you're supposed to do, man. It doesn't matter if you're ranked number 1. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what your ranking is. If you don't have the guys up front that can get after the quarterback, you're going to lose. Because the Kansas City Chiefs, unlike the Baltimore Ravens, they are a football team that they can execute. They are nearly perfect every game that they play because they know how to execute at a high level. They know how to execute on a consistent basis. They're very, very disciplined. They were ready for the moment. They have championship DNA, and the Buffalo Bills don't have it. Simple as that. And listen, the Buffalo Bills, out of all the teams, I would say the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers are the two best teams that has played against Kansas City on multiple occasions. Right? San Francisco twice has played Kansas City tough in the Super Bowl. We have played, literally, I think we've lost by double digits once. And that was the first time we played against Kansas City in the playoffs. Every other game in the playoffs has literally been 3-point game, has literally been a 1-score game, 3-point or a touchdown sort of game. Every single one of them. And it comes down to the little mistakes that we continue to make. That first half, Josh Allen wasn't good. Missed open reads. He fumbled the ball on 2nd and 5, especially on a drive that we were marching down the field. We were in field goal range. We looked like we were about to score a touchdown. Josh Allen fumbles the ball, and that was 3rd and 9. Josh Allen missed open reads. His accuracy, especially on those short to intermediate routes patterns, were off. The fucking cross route to Curtis Samuel, who literally had if he would have caught it and turned up field, one defender he had to miss, which there was a blocker in front. Curtis Samuel had all room. Dalton Kincaid, when he threw it behind Kincaid, Kincaid should have came down with the catch. It was in his hands. Kincaid should have made the play, yes. But at the end of the day, that pass was a little underthrown. And no, I'm not talking about the Hail Mary. I know somebody in the comments is going to talk about the heave that he threw. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking when it was really early in the first half. Josh Allen didn't have a good first half. Let's just call it spade a spade. He did not play like an elite quarterback in that first half. Right? And again, it's not just on him. The offensive line got whipped. The play calling was weak. Let's be honest, the play calling was weak. We were overly aggressive in the first half when that's not the game that you want to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. You want to play your game. And it seemed like we just got away from our identity against the Kansas City Chiefs again. Babbage got out-coached. He got worked by Andy Reid. McDermott got outworked by Andy Reid. Steve Spagnuolo, it was a fight between him and Brady. Yes, Brady, I thought Brady lost round 1. But I definitely thought that in round 2 and round 3, Brady won. And then round 4 and 5, Spagnuolo won. Simple as that. It was a great battle between those two coordinators. But at the end of the day, this falls down to our defense. Yes, I get it. Everyone's going to blame Kincaid for the drop. And yes, Kincaid, you got to make that catch. Simple as that. You got to make the catch. But at the end of the day, this defense gave up 32 points. And they should have given up more. How many times do we have to go through this, man, where Patrick Mahomes plays perfect against your squad? There's no pressure on Mahomes at all. He gets to sit in the pocket and make a fucking sandwich. How many times do we have to address the defensive line? We have spent hundreds, tens of millions of dollars on that defensive line to get to the quarterback, and it still doesn't work. Well, a big reason why is simply because of talent evaluation. You drafted Rousseau because you needed somebody to get after Mahomes. Didn't do shit. You drafted Oliver to get after Mahomes. Oliver was your best asset, but the problem is Oliver is a 3-tech that needs a complement player in order for him to reach that Pro Bowl to All-Pro status. And then you signed Von Miller, a 33-year-old Von Miller who wasn't even in his prime anymore. And again, Von tore his ACL. He's not the same player like he was 2 years ago. But the fact is that you signed a 33-year-old freaking player, and we're still in hell because of that, because you signed him to a mega premium contract. So, I don't know. It is what it is, guys. Like this goes further. This goes to what we do during the offseason, the draft, the free agency. A lot of this shit accumulated to tonight's result, where the littlest things, the littlest details, fuck you today. Simple as that. Like we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of who they get in the offseason, who they draft and develop, who's a part of their coaching staff, their offensive, defensive philosophy, their special teams philosophy. Like you lost the special teams battle. And I don't think that we got outcoached very badly on the special teams battle because for the most part, Tyler Bass played his ass off today. Tyler Bass made the field goals necessary. The problem is, though, you had a punt return go for 50-something yards, and then when Kansas City scored in the fourth quarter, that touchdown, which ultimately got them the lead by 29 points, what the fuck happened? We have the worst kickoff unit. We have the worst kickoff unit in the league. Especially, again, I like Tyler Bass because he's the one that's doing the kickoffs. But for fuck's sakes, can we get a touchback? Why does it seem like everybody else wants to return, but when the opposite team does the kickoff, we never ever run it back. We never get the opportunity to do it. He gets the kick and he takes it to the 33 freaking yard line. And then we get a 15-yard face mask, and they're in position to kick a field goal already because of that crap. Like, special teams lost today. But I'm not going to go on that long of a tangent. I'm not that mad. Like I said, guys, I've cried, I've yelled, I've screamed, I've broke shit doing these videos, talking about the Chiefs. I'm tired, man. Listen, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. They absolutely deserve the win. The littlest details, once again, stops this team for going into the Super Bowl and potentially winning it. But good luck to the Eagles. Good luck to the Kansas City Chiefs on their three-peat. We'll see what happens. But just another year, man. Just another year of heartbreak. And we'll see what goes on next year. Well, we'll see. Go Bills.